I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. Welcome back to Sit Down Sunday, the day of the week where we take a break from talking about all the geeky and nerdy stuff that we love and have a more real, down-to-earth conversation. Though today, that's not entirely true because we are talking about something nerdy, but it's the nerd community we're discussing. Specifically, the question of why do I have to prove to you that I'm a nerd? This comes up in my life on a very daily basis. I've talked to a lot of people, male and female, about this, and I've come to the conclusion that it definitely happens to females more than males, but it does happen to both gender. Let me give you an example into what we're talking about. I used to work at a restaurant, and after a while, one of my coworkers found out that I really liked The Legend of Zelda. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm obsessed with the games. I love all of them. But when he found this out, the conversation went something like this. So, Kristen, I hear you really like The Legend of Zelda, so what's your favorite game? Well, I love Wind Waker, but I also obviously love Ocarina of Time. Oh, you do you? Do you love Ocarina of Time? Yes. So explain to me, when you're in this level, what do you have to do to kill this boss? So my coworker proceeded to make me explain in detail how you defeat a random boss, which is insane. Do you realize how many Legend of Zelda games there are? How many bosses that you defeat throughout that entire series? I'm not gonna remember a random boss in a random section of the game. And if I got one of these trivia questions wrong from him, then suddenly that meant that I wasn't a nerd and that I was lying. That's bullshit. And the thing that's weird is that I found that to be super specific to the nerd community. Like, for some reason, this is like considered okay. And obviously when I say this, I don't mean everybody. This is a very small section of the community, but it's definitely a section of like the nerd gaming community. Like, can you imagine if you went up to a musician and they're like, yeah, I'm a musician, and then you responded with, oh yeah, well tell me about some chords. Why do you assume that I'm lying? Why can't you accept what I'm saying at face value? Another example of this that I can think of off the top of my head happened at New York Comic Con. It didn't happen to me, however, I saw this guy all over the con who would run up specifically to Riddler cosplayers and ask them to tell him a riddle. And if they didn't respond instantly to him, he yelled at them, you shouldn't be cosplaying the Riddler, you're a fake. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that there was a nerd and cosplay police. I wasn't aware, but like now I am. It's something that's very frustrating from a community that should be all about acceptance. It's very cool that being a nerd has become more mainstream and more accepted, but in the past, being a nerd came kind of from being an outsider. And so for our community to suddenly have like a guidelines of other people defining you as a nerd, that seems very counterintuitive. I encounter this sometimes on my Royals Nerd Anthem parody where people will comment saying, this was great, but it's more of like a fangirl Tumblr parody than it is a nerd parody. And that comment always makes me a little uncomfortable because it's like, well, who are you to define what being a nerd is to me? It's not cool, and bottom line is that I don't have to prove anything to anyone. So it's very annoying when other people suddenly make me feel like I have to. And again, I want to emphasize that this is not everybody. This is a small portion of the nerd community, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. But to the people that are saying these sorts of things, my question really is why? And especially to the men out there that just assume women can't be nerds and that's why they do it, but still have no problem looking at sexy cosplayers. I'm sure they didn't ask them if they're really nerds. Let me know what you guys think in the bottom bar below. Have you ever had this happen to you? Are you someone that holds the nerds to a certain standard or a certain set of rules? If you haven't seen last week's Sit Down Sunday, please go and check it out. I talk about my fear of confrontation. Fun topics over here on Sit Down Sunday. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get notifications about when I make videos. And if you want to find me on other social media, here is all of my information. Go and check it out. I love you lovelies, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!